Hey, hello and welcome. I'm Debbie Peterson of Getting to Clarity, and I want to welcome you to the way forward to your career. Today, we have with us, my guest is Claire, and Claire is awesome. She's been doing a lot of work in the media, and I'm so excited that she's got some great tips to share with you today. So a little bit about Claire is that Claire is a productivity catalyst. I love that. An executive coach. She boosts productivity, performance, and pleasure at work and in life, firmly believing you deserve to have fun while getting things done. I love that. Claire draws on her diverse corporate career, which took her from Toronto to Tokyo with equal experience as an entrepreneur. She's a sought after media guest and to the likes of Huffington Post, Fast Company, CBC, The Social, and Marilyn Dennis Show. She loves nothing more than inspiring massive shifts, whether speaking to one person or thousands, and invites you to pay attention to the little things that make a big difference. So Claire, welcome to the show today. I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm so interested to learn about what it is that you have to share. So I will turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Debbie. It's been my privilege to work with leaders, both women and men, but a lot of women leaders for the past, 10, 15 years. And a lot of times it was thinking about their physical environment and also their time management and productivity performance and how they interact well with their teams as a leader as well. And what I want to talk about now, because it's really pressing in what we're going through now, but it's an evergreen issue, is how do we hone our productivity when we're working from home? And at the moment, everybody's back home. So things are a little different. And this is the biggest work-life integration experience of our time. And it's an opportunity. I've always believed that the ability to work from home it's a cornerstone to productivity because you can take care of things for your family. You can put a little time back into self-care through exercise and not having to perhaps groom and present ourselves to the nines every day. We can take some of that time.
The magic happens in the jammies, right? I mean, it's just.
Well, in the past 2 weeks, I've been rotating between pajamas and exercise gear because exercising every day is a key priority. And this need not to be necessarily camera ready every day, it's been refreshing to the point that I've shocked my daughter and my boyfriend when they've seen me in clothes with makeup on. They're like, "Hey, you look good. What happened?" So it's this concept though that working from home, and if we can get that right, it unlocks time for us and gives us the potential to, in an ongoing way, really integrate work and life successfully. Now we're in this period of intense integration. There's some specific strategies, though, that I want everybody to think about, which are evergreen, like I said, but we're forced into a new dynamic. And what I'm hoping is it will trigger a lot of really important conversations. So I have 3 tips to take people through, and we can explore each of those and welcome your questions if it triggers anything, Debbie. If there's something like pause, let's go deeper, let me know. Okay. So number 1 is you've got to manage your #home team. You need a home team advantage right now. And anybody that goes to work can focus on work if their kids are taken care of, if an elder parent that needs your attention is looked after, if the pets are well managed. You're managing all of this, and your ability to focus is often very much related to how successfully those things are set up. Now that you have a lot of people at home, that requires a whole different construct redesign of this work-life experience. So I want you to think of 3 things in figuring out and creating this home team advantage. Number 1, you want to assess everyone's capability. So you might have an infant at home, a toddler, a 5-year-old, a 9-year-old, a teenager. Capabilities are vastly different. And understanding all of those, and if you have a partner with you, understanding where your strengths are is really huge. So understand that first. Then look at capacity. What does everyone have on their plate? What do they have energy for? Do we have learning deficits? Do we have an illness to contend with? Where are any of the things that might be diminishing our capacity? Is the emotional turmoil of what's going on right now actually taxing our ability to think clearly? And so looking at capacity is really important. Third, look at the commitments that you've already made and understand what you can still adhere to and what might need a tweak or a refocus or a deferring. So understanding what those three things are is really going to help you take care of your home team.
So is part of managing your home team also putting in place those boundaries and having those conversations so that things flow?
Absolutely. I just finished a wonderful conversation with a dear friend of mine who's in the UK. And they've had a traditional dynamic where he's been the breadwinner. She's been a wonderful business partner for him, but she's been the home captain. And they've had a housekeeper. Well, that's all shifted. And he's still holding on to the, well, I bring in the money, you need to do all of this. And he's a sensitive person with respect to the environment. So he's like, I want it cleaned as if the housekeeper was here every day. Whoa, everybody's home. This is a new dynamic. And yes, you're exactly right. We need to stay in a place of compassion and curiosity. So two really key high performance leadership skills. Staying in compassion. What do you need to succeed, whether it's your home team or your colleagues? What do you need to succeed is the one question I want leaders to really hold top of mind. And then curiosity is, I don't understand what your reality is now. Where are you? And what do you need? And if we can combine those two things with some creativity and collaborative spirit, we can then co-create. And that's number two, is to co-create a structure that you can all operate within. Right. So when couples move in together, this conversation is missing. It's like, what makes you feel comfortable in your space? What makes you feel comfortable in the way we show up for things? Are we on time? And does it stress you out if we're a minute late? Do we like to have a half an hour buffer? What's our norms here? What are our norms as a family and with your team as well? So really wonderful at any time to have these curious, collaborative, compassionate conversations to understand what does everyone need and how can we operate for success of what we agree are common objectives.
And I love that co-create a structure because when you've got more people in the house, regardless of who was there first, you've got more people in the house. Maybe your spouse or your significant other is there now and it was just you. Maybe you had one kid and now you've got four. So and all the pets and everything else, homeschooling and things like that. I remember when I first started my business, my husband was retired, and every time a thought popped into his head, he came trotting down the hallway to sit on the couch and stare at me until I acknowledged him. And finally, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, we've got to put some boundaries around this. So
right,
we did, but for the sake of the marriage. And for the sake of the relationships, I love that it's co-create, kind of that new structure going forward. So
super important. And if it's a toddler, you're co-creating with the toddler. You're co-creating as to the best of their ability to, let's learn your colors so you can sort your own laundry. Let's, 3 and 4-year-olds, they can fold their clothes, they can put them away. There's a lot of empowering to do so you can offload how much have you been doing or relying on others to do that you need to redesign now so you can have some time for the task that you actually want to focus on. So that brings me to, so co-creating structure. There are 5 things, and I don't want to overwhelm anybody with 5 things, but 5 things that you need to think about when you're structuring your time. And an acronym to help with that is FIRM, and then C at the end, FIRM C, okay? So FIRM, number 1, your focus time is your most precious, right? That time where you're doing deep work, problem solving, creative thinking, focus time with your team, and you need to be 100% present for that. You need to figure out how you can carve that out in your day. If it's nap time for the toddler, there you go. If it's an older child looking after the younger ones, if it's pre-planning activities so everybody's engaged and doing some quiet work so you can preserve that, that's your number 1 priority in terms of meeting your corporate and professional objectives.
And I know I'm an early riser. I'm a very early riser. So I'm usually up before everyone. And I get so much done in that, 1.5, 2 hours. So
Yeah, I would say the majority of leaders I talk to evolve to that, whether they're early birds or night owls or not. They're like, this is the only time I can get ahead of things where I'm not being interrupted, right? So focus time is the F. I is the interactive time where you're doing smaller projects and you don't mind that, hey, from your husband, I got something I got to tell you. That it's okay to have a little interruption and you can come back to a small task because you're allowing for some interaction. R is for rest. Now, I am hoping that this period of time is when we are globally going to get in touch with this actual amount of sleep that we need. I call it knowing your sleep number. It's the number of hours you need in a 24-hour period to feel rested. Okay, to wake up without an alarm, that's your goal. To wake, it's life-changing if you can do this. You wake up and you're not being pulled out of groggy sleep and feeling like, somebody's yanking you through your day. You wake up, you breathe in, you go, hey, I'm okay. And wow, I'm excited to start this day. It's absolutely life changing. So rest, whether it be in overnight or it be, and I tell all my clients this, I give you permission. You got to give yourself permission to power nap, right?
Oh, I love the power nap. Yeah.
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
minutes can make you feel like a new woman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yesterday I was tired. I laid down, and in getting horizontal is, or even putting your head on your desk, just tuning out stimulation, it allows a bit of a brain cleanse. It's a brain reboot. Like our computers need to be rebooted, so do we, right? So yeah, your power nap is your friend. Either you're setting an alarm so you don't go past 20 minutes, because then you're getting into the sleep phases, which will make you feel groggy and you wake up going, what day is it? And not being alert. Or you want to allow, if you've been really interrupted, 90 minutes, which you'll get a full sleep cycle in. So those are the strategies around rest, but rest is a really important component to sustain our energy. And I'm all about what I call sustainable performance. We need these periods of productivity and accomplishing things, and we need rest and recovery so our brain can actually start to perform again, our body, our muscles, whatever we're using in our work and to contribute to others can restore. So that oxygen mask on.
Yeah,
Concept.
and I would think it's almost more important. I mean, I think that people may find themselves more tired these days, just because from an energetic standpoint, there's so many emotions, there's just so much stress, and that really, that it's a process. You've got to process that and getting rest. So you may find yourself taking a nap when you normally didn't, or sleeping longer or going to bed earlier because you just feel tired. I've talked to people and they just feel tired. I think you really need to honor that when you feel that and accommodate your body. Don't be graceful with yourself. So great.
Yeah, this is a period of extreme self-compassion. Extreme anything, if you're going to do extreme anything, make it self-compassion as a starting point. Be as kind to yourself now as you can, and then you can be as giving to others. And there's this cycle of reciprocity. When you're giving, you're receiving. So you'll fill your cup up naturally and you'll keep that engine going by taking care of yourself. Yeah. So we got to, what did we get to? F-I-R. R was rest. M, we're on M. What do you think M is? Do you have an idea? No.
Could it be meditate or?
Gotta move. You gotta move your body. You've got to move your body. And I want at least 30 minutes a day of movement. At least. We were like, if you think of the caveman and we got upright and now we're kind of hunched over our computers again, incredibly sedentary, whether we're Netflixing, commuting to work. For a lot of us, it's sedentary, and the time we spend on screens. So I want you to think about movement, and for your whole family, maybe it's a family yoga, like seeing everyone do downward dog is pretty great, right? Or a dance party, or it's as long as we're able to take advantage of walks outside, or in the garden, gardening. There's all kinds of ways, but we need to keep moving. And even when you're at work, if you can vary your position between sitting and standing. Some people are privileged to have a treadmill desk. If you can do a little walking while you're consuming information. Just keeping the body moving. We're not meant to be sitting for as long as we do. So movement has to be in your home team structure.
And for me, getting out in the morning and even incorporating now a walk in the evening. Just it's peaceful. I'll see people, outside. We're still at a respectable distance, but we can greet our neighbors and and, see their dog and have a little bit of a conversation at a distance, but, just being outside makes such a difference. So incorporating
Huge.
that movement is yeah.
Yeah, and two sort of kudos to you. Getting out in the morning gets you morning light, which helps set your circadian rhythm. So it's really giving you the cues that you need to stay energized and also manage your melatonin, all of that. And then getting out at night, especially after you eat, is wonderful for digestion and will promote better sleep.
Ooh, good
So
deal.
there's a lot of things that are interrelated. I in my big body of work, I call it productivity table stakes, and sleep and movement are two of them, and light is another one. So they're all meshed together and really, really wonderful to think about. How do you structure this for the well-being of everybody? Now, C, the one that didn't fit in the acronym nicely, firm C is for chores. Because you're in this new workspace, right? In the office, there was a housekeeping team that came after you left and tidied up. And maybe you had a ritual of leaving your desk in a way that you're happy to see it in the morning. This is a new reality and a whole lot more shared spaces. So you need a whole new redesign on chores, and it changes as kids grow. It changes with structure. If you've ever been in and out of a job with your partner, as I was, we had massive shifts. When my ex was laid off, all of a sudden all the cooking went to him, and I was able to focus on the business for a little bit longer. So there's always a need to flex and have these restructuring conversations around who's going to do what. Now, the science will show, or the studies will show, that women are still carrying a bulk of the load. So all you women leaders out there, I really want you to take the challenge here to ask for help and be really adamant that for you to meet the commitments, part of that first conversation of all the commitments that each of you have, that for all of us to meet our commitments, we need to redesign this and then design it as a family, as a home team, so that you're building skills with your kids, so that they're going to be, proud of the fact that I'm in charge of that bathroom and look how good it is, or I'm a super duster, or look how clean I got the windows, or I wiped off all the cans of groceries. If you want to, there's
gamify it.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
So this leads me to a story. Once I was working from home with the kids in the summer, and they were like, "Mom, I don't want to do any of the camps that you've suggested. I don't want to do any of them." And I said, "Well, what about chore camp? Because I'm a little wacky, right?" So I suggest chore camp to my kids. And because I live in Toronto, I thought, we're going to call this torture camp for short. Torture camp. So my daughter, she actually made a sign. She thought we could market this, and for $5 kids could sign up for chore camp. Anyway, I ran this with my kids, and we did things like, there's two of them, right? So one would be doing the activity, the other one would be timing them. So we would build a sense of time awareness, like it only took 10 minutes to do the dishes. Fancy that. So when you're saying, I don't have time, I've got to go study. Well, we now know that it only took 10 minutes. So work it in, right? So it was so much fun. We did even time management stuff, and really, like, it was so much fun. I took the kids through a week of learning. Mm-hmm.
And I want to go back to something key that you said, because you said, now's the time for you to ask for help. And I think that for many women, especially women leaders, that asking for help pre-COVID-19, it was just something that they didn't do. And I know that not everybody thinks the same way or listens the same way. Mm-hmm. Some people are inferential in their listening or their observing. They can see things that need to be done. They notice things. And other people aren't. They need to be told. And that's where my husband is. And, if I say, get frustrated, doesn't he see how much I have to do? And you would think he would pitch in. But that's not his style, I learned. But if I say, hey, I need some help today, would you mind doing X? He's like, sure. Yeah. So, it may be, you may be just, at your wit's end thinking they don't get it, when in fact, that's just kind of not how they operate. So
and they should read my mind even, right? They should know me.
I don't know about you, but most people in my life really stink at mind reading 101. So
yeah, everybody does. It's so part of that conversation is, when I need help, how would you like me to tell you? Like, and the structure piece, you know, having that up on the fridge. Let's go old school, paper, color, up on the fridge, everybody's name, what's happening in the day and who's doing what. Sticky notes, be able to move it around and flex with it. This isn't, you know, none of this is cast in stone. And one of the best things out of my coach training was life is an experiment, and let's try something, see how it works, and then adapt with it. And the same thing's going to happen with your teams too, and how you're working. When you need help, how are we going to know? How are we going to communicate that? Because you want to catch that before any kind of resentment builds, and you're subtly trying to give people a lesson or teach them, well, I'm just going to stop doing this, and you'll all see when the garbage is 6 feet high that mom was doing this all the time. It's not going to make anyone feel good and in that process, right? So yeah, asking for help is, especially for leaders, when you're used to being able to just instruct and say, I need this, 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 and this. There's a mix of both, and at times we're going to need to sort of appeal to a different sense, right? If somebody feels that they're helping you, it's a completely different thing than I've just been told what to do and I need to do it. It's a completely different energy dynamic.
So I love this to help think about it. So firm C, that's terrific. And
yeah,
so
hopefully
that was
that keeps
step
it
one and
simple.
step two.
Yeah, step 3. Now, here's the challenge. We've got multiple workspaces we need to have in the home, and we might have limited screens and everybody wants to be on one. So what does it look like? So part of understanding this capacity, capability, commitments, you've got to, you know, come to an architecture that says, now we're going to map that to the spaces we have to allow everybody to get some movement in their day, be able to work in the right space for the task that they need to complete. So we're on a video chat right now. It wouldn't work well if I was in the kitchen at a kitchen counter and everybody was making breakfast, right? I need to be in a quiet space where I can control the environment a bit more. And so figuring out where in your home those spaces can be. If there's one, great. If you can make more than one, probably even better, depending on who in your household needs to have focus time. So if you're podcasting, you know what? A walk-in closet is fabulous because you've got great acoustic dampening, right? All of a sudden, yes, you know, throw up a virtual background, but go in that closet and you've got your quiet lovely sound space. So I want you to think of the different spaces that you have. And I've been talking to my community over the past couple of weeks, and I've had some really incredible suggestions that have come from people. One gentleman, he's a fitness expert out in Calgary, and he has turned his cat perch into his standing desk. The top of the cat perch is big enough for his laptop, and he's like, well, the cat can use the scratching post, and I'm gonna take over the top. There's a pregnant woman in the UK, and while she's expecting, the nursery's ready, and she went, wait a second, I'm taking the side down on the crib and I'm turning the inside of the crib into another desk. So we need to, I know, right? The kitchen counter is a great place.
Innovative.
Your ironing board.
That's one of the happy byproducts, is that we are forced to be more creative and more innovative. So
it is. And that's where kids can brainstorm too. Like, you can involve the team in figuring this out. Like, okay, we need another place. What can we do? I talked to a fabulous speaker yesterday morning, and she's like, I'm working from my friend's basement and my laptop's on a TV tray right now. So what can you do to give yourself the surface and the posture that you need? Sitting and standing, varying it is great. Reclining has a place as well. As we move through our day, be careful not to go there at 3:30 in the afternoon unless you know you want to take a nap, because you're likely to fall when your circadian rhythm's dropping, or in the, you know, but reclining is a great opportunity for the consumption of material. You can take some pressure off your neck and spine and recline and read, and by all means enjoy it. But when you're back to creating and you want a couple of screens, get in pole position, Command Central, that workstation that's ergonomically well set up for you, that's where you want to be for that activity.
Very nice. Very nice. So if you want to just summarize things again, so everybody, in case they missed anything in their notes, I know I have been taking my notes. Would you just run through it at a high level so everybody make sure they have what they need?
You bet. So number 1 is you're going to take care of your home team. And home team, you need to understand capability, what people can do, capacity, how much they can do, and the commitments that have already been subscribed to, and whatever redesign needs to happen. So that's taking care of your home team. Then together you want to co-create your structure. And within your structure are 5 things. Firm C: focus time, interactive time, rest, enjoy the rest, movement, and C, chores. You know, keeping that place and that environment a place that you're all thriving in.
And asking for help.
And asking for help, right? Yeah, so important. And then number 3 is creating those safe workspaces and knowing where they are in your home, and you know, rotating through them as necessary with your
according to the
team.
task. And that was such an interesting distinguishment, is according to the best space according to the task. Yeah, no, that's just terrific. All right, so this is just terrific. And Claire, I would like to ask you, how can they find you?
Oh, thank you. So my website is easy. It's clarekumar.com. I'll spell that real quick because there's a couple of ways to spell Clare. So it's CLAREKUMAR. So Claire, I say I have no third eye, so clarekumar.com. And then I'm setting up a special page, actually, clarekumar.com/work-from-home, so that there's a place to go to get these tips, both for individuals and for leaders. And so you can find a number of resources right there.
Oh, wonderful. It has been such a pleasure, not only getting to know you today, but just really jumping into this valuable information. I can see why you're so busy, media interviews, and just especially today with everything that we have going on. So I really appreciate you being here today. And I encourage you to find Claire either on her website or her social media. I imagine you're on all the social media as well. And so for now, if you have any questions, put them below in the post. We would love that. I'm Debbie Peterson of Getting to Clarity. And until the next time, here is wishing you the clarity that you deserve. Have a great day.